The sky was burning. Pieces of metal flew across the clouds as the spaceship broke apart. Inside, alarms screamed and red lights flashed. Eli gripped the seat tightly, his breath short and fast. He didn't know where he was falling. He only knew one thing: the ship was going down, and nothing could stop it. Then everything went black. When Eli opened his eyes, he was lying in soft blue grass. The sky above him was purple, with two suns shining down. His head hurt. His arm was bleeding. His helmet was cracked. He looked around. The spaceship was destroyed. The engine was split in half, and smoke was rising into the air. Small fires were still burning. He tried to stand. His legs were weak, but he could move. Slowly, he walked towards the wreckage. His communicator was broken. No signal. No help. He was alone on a strange alien planet. Birds? No. No sound. No wind. Just silence. Too silent. Eli's training told him this was not normal. A planet like this, with grass, sunlight, and air, should have animals, birds, insects. But there was nothing. Only the soft sound of his own footsteps. He checked his oxygen. 78%. Enough for a while. But not forever. Suddenly he heard something. A whisper. He turned quickly. Nothing. He walked a little further. His boots made light. Marks on the ground. The grass moved as if someone had just walked there. But no one was around. Then he saw her. Standing about 30 feet away, near a glowing blue tree, was a figure. A girl, or something like a girl. She was tall and slim, with pale skin and long white hair that floated like smoke. Her eyes were large and glowing, a soft golden color. She didn't blink. She didn't speak. She just stared. Eli raised his hand. "Hello, do you understand me?" She didn't answer. She started walking toward him, slowly. Her feet made no sound. Her eyes never looked away. Eli stepped back. "I'm not here to hurt you. I crashed. I need help." Still no words. She walked right up to him. So close he could see her strange skin. It shimmered like water. She tilted her head. Her eyes were sad or curious. Or both. Then, without warning, she leaned in and licked his face. A long, slow lick across his cheek. Eli froze. He didn't know what to do. What was that? A greeting? A threat? A joke? Before he could say anything, the girl turned and ran. Fast. Too fast. She disappeared into the trees like a ghost. Eli stood there, shocked. He touched his face. Her saliva was cold and glowing. He didn't understand what just happened. Why did she lick him? Was this how her kind said hello? Was it a warning? A test? His training didn't prepare him for this. He looked around, trying to find her, but she was gone. Eli walked back to the wreckage and sat down. The suns were lower now. Evening was coming. He had to find shelter soon. But his mind kept thinking about the girl, that face, that lick, and the look in her eyes. It wasn't hate. It wasn't love, it was something else. Something deeper. He turned on his emergency recorder. "This is Flight Officer Eli Draven. Crash landed on unknown planet. No signs of human life. Met native being. Female form. No communication. Possible symbolic behavior. Physical contact via facial licking. Unknown meaning." He stopped recording and looked at the glowing trees ahead. He had a choice: stay by the wreckage and hope for help, or follow the girl and try to understand what was going on. He chose to follow. Maybe she was the only one who could explain what this planet was, and what that strange act really meant. As he walked into the glowing forest, one thought stayed in his mind. What if the lick wasn't just a greeting, but a warning? The trees whispered, but the people did not. Eli had walked for almost 2 hours, deeper into the glowing forest. The light here was soft and blue. The air was warm, but not heavy. Strange plants moved when he passed them, not like they were touched, but like they noticed him. Then, he saw it. A village, small round homes made of stone and vines sat in a circle. There were no doors, just open spaces. Soft white smoke came from the tops of the houses. Everything was quiet, too quiet. As Eli stepped closer, he saw figures moving. Tall, pale Ians. Like the girl, some carried baskets. Some were sitting. Some just stood and stared, but none of them spoke. None of them smiled. None of them came near him. They just watched. Eli raised his hand slowly, trying to show peace. I don't want to hurt anyone. I just crashed here. I need help. No reply. Not even a sound. An old alien male stepped out of one house. His skin was cracked like old bark, and his eyes were cloudy white. He looked at Eli for a long moment, then quickly turned his face away and walked back inside. Eli walked further in. He saw a group of children playing near a pond. They were drawing on the ground with sticks. When they saw Eli, they stopped. One of them, a small child with big green eyes, didn't run. Instead, she looked at him carefully, then slowly bent down and drew something in the dirt. A figure. A human. Then another figure, an alien. The alien touched the human's face with a long tongue. Then the last part, a picture of a spaceship. Burning. Eli stared at the drawing. What does this mean? He asked softly. The child didn't answer, but her eyes were wide with fear. He could say more. A woman came running and pulled the child away. She said nothing to Eli, just gave him a look, part fear, part sadness, and vanished into the house. Still no words, still no welcome. Just silence. Eli felt the air grow colder, even though the suns were still shining. He looked around and saw more and more villagers turning their backs to him. They wouldn't look at him. As if he was already dead. He sat on a rock near the center of the village. No one came near. Then he saw her again, the same girl. She was standing behind one of the trees, only half visible, watching. Eli stood up. You saw me crash. Why? What does it mean? She didn't move. He took one step forward. She took one step back. You know something, he said. You tried to help me, didn't you? Still no answer. Then, slowly, she pointed at the sky, at the dark clouds forming above the jungle. She spoke one word, in soft, broken English. Another. Eli froze. Another what? But she was already gone. Night came fast. Eli built a small fire, with help from dry leaves and pieces of the wreckage. He sat alone outside the village. The people inside still wouldn't talk to him. But they left. Food near him, fruits and roots, without a word. It was kindness, mixed with fear. Before sleeping, L.A. checked his scanner. A signal, weak, faint, but it was there. Another crash site. About 4 kilometers west. His heart jumped. He was not the first human here. He packed his bag quickly and left before sunrise. Whatever happened to the first human might soon happen to him too. The jungle didn't breathe. It listened. Eli moved through the tall, glowing plants. Every step made a soft crunch. Every leaf seemed to watch him. The signal on his scanner grew stronger. He followed it, deeper and deeper into the wild. Behind him, the silent village had vanished. The people, the girl, the strange drawings, all left behind. Now, only one thing mattered, the signal. He pushed through thick blue vines and stepped into a clearing. Then he saw it. Another ship crashed, twisted, covered in moss and dust. But this one wasn't alien. It was Earth-made. Black metal. U.S. logo. Same as Eli's fleet. He ran toward it. Hello? Anyone alive? No answer. The ship was broken open from the side. The cockpit glass shattered. Panels hanging loose. Inside it was quiet. Too quiet. Dust in the air. No bodies. Just pieces of a past disaster. Then something blinked. A red light. A small blinking dot on the floor near the pilot's chair. A recorder. Eli picked it up and pressed play. A voice crackled to life. Male, American, tired, Afraid. This is Commander Reed Morgan. Day, unknown. Ship down. Same planet as the others. Same silence, same people. The voice shook. They don't talk. They don't help, but they watch, always watching. One of them licked my face. Eli's heart froze. At first I thought it was just weird alien stuff, but then I started changing. Dreams, memories. I saw myself from the outside. I saw things wearing my face. Static buzzed. Then the voice returned, softer now. The lick is not a hello, it's a mark. They mark us for what? I still don't know. But after that, they come, the ones in the dark. Click, the recording ended. Eli sat still. The wind was blowing now, or maybe it was just the trees moving. He looked around, nothing, but he felt something. He was being watched again. Suddenly, a shadow moved behind the broken ship. He turned quickly. Who's there? Silence. He stepped around the wreck and saw footprints in the mud. Small, bare feet. Leading toward the rocks, he followed. Then she appeared, the alien girl, pale skin glowing in the dim jungle light, hair floating like smoke. She looked different now, scared, sad, but this time she spoke. Just 2 words. Too late. Eli blinked. What? What do you mean? She walked toward him slowly. Her eyes were shining, wet. Then she whispered again, her voice broken. Run. He didn't move. She reached out, touched his chest and whispered, before they take your face too. Eli's blood turned cold. She pointed behind him. He turned, and there, standing just beyond the trees, was a figure. His size, his shape. His face, a copy, but its eyes were black, empty. It smiled, and then it vanished into the trees. Eli turned back, but the girl was gone. He stood alone between 2 wrecks, one from the past, and one from his own crash. And now, something else knew he was here, something wearing his face, something waiting. He looked at the recorder again, as if it could answer all the questions, but it only repeated in his mind. They mark us. Then, they come. He had been marked. The question now was, what would come next? It started with a whisper that wasn't his. Eli woke up to the sound of someone breathing near him, but he was alone, or he thought he was. His campfire had died. The jungle was dark, filled with blue shadows and cold air. His back was wet with sweat, though the night was freezing. He reached for his light and turned it on. That's when he saw it, a footprint, right next to his bedroll. Fresh, small, human, but it wasn't his. He stood, scanning the trees. Who's there? No answer. Just wind moving through glowing leaves. Eli's heart beat faster. He checked his pack. Still there. Weapons? 1 pistol, half battery. Enough for 2 or 3 shots. Then he noticed something else. His helmet, the cracked one from the crash, was missing. He turned in a circle, searching. They're 20 feet away, hanging from a tree branch, placed, not dropped, like a warning or a trophy. That's when the screaming started, not loud, not far. Just one voice, his own. He ran toward the sound, through trees, over rocks. Then he stopped. A wide pool of water, black and still, reflected the stars. Above, but in the reflection, someone was standing behind him. He turned fast. No one. He looked back into the water. Still there, a human figure. Same face, his face, same clothes, same eyes, but not him. It was smiling, and the smile didn't stop. Eli stepped back, breathing hard. Then a new sound, movement, leaves rustling, fast. He pointed his pistol toward the noise. Show yourself. From the dark, a figure stepped out. Alien girl, but this time, she looked different, weak, pale. Her skin flickered like a dying light. She stumbled toward him and collapsed. He ran to her, held her in his arms. What's happening to me? He asked. Why do I see my own face in the trees? Her lips trembled, her voice cracked. They took the first one. Now they come for you. Eli swallowed. The face takers? She nodded slowly. They wear what they steal. They eat memory. They live as you. Until you are gone. His blood turned cold. He remembered Commander Reed's recording. I saw myself from the outside. Now Eli understood. The lick wasn't a welcome dot, it was a mark, a warning to others, and a signal to the face takers that he was chosen. Why? Emmy? Eli whispered. Why would you mark me? The girl didn't answer. She only reached up and touched his cheek. I tried to save you, she said. But I was too late. Then her eyes rolled back and her body faded into mist. Gone. Like a dream, or a memory being erased. Eli fell to his knees. Alone again. Afraid. And now hunted. He stood up slowly, looking into the trees. Something was there. He could feel it, watching. Wearing his face, waiting to replace him. He couldn't go back to the village. They feared him now. They knew what he was marked for. But he remembered something from Commander Reed's logs, a final note on the map screen before it powered down. Old ruins south of crash zone. Symbols match early human tech. Ruins. Maybe answers. Maybe a way to fight back. Eli turned and ran toward the south. Behind him, deep in the jungle, something followed. It walked like him, moved like him, and sometimes it laughed like him too. The doors opened only for the real one. That's what the writing said. Not in alien symbols, but in English. Old, scratched into metal. Eli stood before a giant stone arch, half buried in moss and roots. Behind it, a dark tunnel. Cold air blew from inside. The kind of cold that didn't touch the skin, only the soul. He checked the map from Commander Reed's wreck. This was the place. The ruins. The last mark on the old human log. But it made no sense. Why was human tech buried on an alien world? He took one slow step forward. The tunnel HUMMED. Inside. Walls were covered in writing, some alien, some human. Stories, symbols, warnings. One drawing showed a face being removed like a mask. Beneath it, blackness. Another showed two humans. One glowing, one made of smoke, fighting over a single body. Eli moved deeper. The light from his wrist lamp flickered. Suddenly, the tunnel opened into a large chamber. At the center stood a massive machine, shaped like a pod, glowing faint blue. On the floor in front of it, a skeleton in a pilot suit. Earth made. Next to it, a cracked visor. Eli picked up the helmet. The nameplate said, R. Morgan, Commander Reed. Never escaped. Eli turned to the pod. It had a small screen. Dusty, but alive, a blinking word, identity unknown. Access denied. Eli wiped the screen. A second message appeared. Only the marked may activate. The licked out the mark. Eli stepped closer. A small needle popped from the screen. Scanner. He hesitated. Then gave his thumb. The screen blinked. Red, then green. Identity confirmed. Defense protocol unlocked. The pod cracked open. Inside was a sleek black sphere, glowing softly, pulsing like a heartbeat. Text appeared. Memory anchor. Lock soul to body. Repels face mimicry. Ellie stared. This wasn't just a weapon. It was a shield. For the mind, but before he could touch it, he heard footsteps. From the tunnel. Soft. Slow. Measured. He grabbed his pistol. Who's there? No reply. Then a voice, his own. Drop it, Eli. You're not the only one who found this place. A figure stepped out of the shadows. Same face, same eyes, same suit. But colder. It smiled. Funny thing about identity. It said, people think it's in the face or the voice, but it's not. Eli backed away. You're not me. The other Eli tilted his head. No, I'm better. I remember more. I'm clearer, cleaner. It stepped toward the pod. But I'm not here to kill you. I'm here to become you. Eli raised his gun, His hands shook. Stay back. The mimic smiled wider. You don't get it. This planet isn't cursed, it's a test. They want to see which version of you is strong enough to survive. Then it lunged. Eli fired. The blast hit the wall. Too fast. Too close. They rolled across the floor. Struggling. Fists, elbows, dirt. Each time Eli looked up, he saw his own face snarling back. He grabbed a broken metal pipe and swung. Crack. The mimic screamed. But the sound was twisted, not human. Not alien. Something in between. Eli crawled toward the pod. Bleeding, coughing. The mimic followed, slower now. He reached the memory anchor. His fingers touched the sphere. It burned. But not his skin. His mind. Flashes. Memories of Earth. His mother, his ship, the crash. The girl, the lick. He screamed. So did the mimic. But only one of them stayed standing when the light faded. The chamber fell silent. Eli stood, shaking, his clothes torn. The mimic lay still, melting into black ash, its face flickering through thousands of stolen identities before turning to dust. The sphere dimmed. The pod sealed itself. Shut. Eli dropped to his knees. He was still himself. For now, but he finally understood what the girl had tried to do. She hadn't cursed him. She had marked him. To give him a chance to prove his identity. To fight for it. To keep his soul his own. Outside, the suns were rising. Eli stepped out of the ruins, his steps heavy, his mind clearer. But he knew this wasn't the end. Something had sent the face takers, and he had just passed the test. The jungle bowed to him. As Eli walked back through the forest, the plants moved aside without wind. Vines untwisted, leaves glowed brighter. Creatures he could not see grew silent. He was not the same man who had crashed here. The mark on his face, from the alien girl's lick, now pulsed with a soft blue light, warm, calm, almost alive. Touched it gently. It didn't hurt anymore. Instead, it hummed. Back at the village, the people were waiting, not hiding, not silent. They stood in a circle, eyes glowing, heads bowed. One old alien, the elder he had seen before, stepped forward and placed a hand on Eli's shoulder. You returned, the elder said. His voice was deep, slow, and filled with weight. You faced the mirror and did not break. Eli looked around, confused. You knew this would happen? The elder nodded. Long before you came, we watched your kind from the stars. We knew one day a human would carry the mark and survive it. The children came forward. This time, they didn't draw warnings. They drew Eli. With light in his chest. Standing between the alien girl and the black shadow of a face taker, a protector, a bridge. Why me? Eli asked. The elder looked at the sky. Because you were willing to lose yourself to find the truth. That is what makes a true one. That is what the mark looks for. Suddenly, the ground shook. Boom. In the distance, fire. Something exploded. A new sound filled the air. Low, metallic, echoing through the trees. A ship, but not human. Not alien either. Something else. Something coming. The girl returned from the shadows. She looked stronger now. Her skin had color again. Her eyes were clear. She walked to Eli and handed him a device. Small, glowing, ancient. This will open the tower, she said. Eli blinked. What tower? She pointed to the sky. And there, above the hills, was a shape rising into the clouds. Black stone. Tall, silent. A tower that was hidden in plain sight. The elder spoke again. The tower is the last gate. Inside it is a choice. Eli narrowed his eyes. What kind of choice? Become what you were marked to be. Or walk away and let the darkness wear your face. Without another word, Eli ran toward the tower, toward the final truth. Behind him, the forest trembled. The face takers had felt the shift. They were coming to. The tower stood like a broken god, ancient, asleep, waiting. Its door was stone, but when Eli placed the device inside the glowing slot, it melted open. Inside, white light, floating patterns. Symbols from Earth, symbols from the aliens merged. He walked forward. The door closed. Inside the tower, voices whispered. His mother's voice, his commanders, the alien girls, his own voice, but not quite. They echoed inside his mind. Then, a platform rose. A beam scanned him. Marked 1 confirmed. Planet protocol unlocked. A screen appeared. Would you like to upload identity signal to orbit? Eli stared. What happens if I do? The voice answered. Your mind becomes a beacon. Your face becomes a message. He thought for a moment. If he said yes, he would become something more than just a man. He would be seen across space. Recognized as protector or as target. But if he said no, the face takers would find another, and Earth would never know what lived in the stars. He closed his eyes, then pressed yes. The tower lit up. From the top, a beam shot into the sky, up through the clouds, into orbit. The face takers screamed. Every one of them felt it. Their stolen identities began to crack. Faces melted. Voices shattered. Eli stood alone in the tower, but now, across the galaxy, his true self had been broadcast. Outside, the girl waited. She saw the light rise from the tower and whispered one word. Chosen. He no longer walked with a shadow, because the tower had taken it. Eli stepped out into the morning light. The jungle was still. Birds had returned, not birds from Earth, but creatures that chirped like laughter and cried like wind. The trees no longer whispered his name in fear. They sang it now. Above, the tower pulsed once every few seconds, like a heartbeat. Its signal had gone across the stars. A warning. A message. A story. And at the center of it, Ila's face, but not just his face, his thoughts, his choices, his scars. His identity, not stolen, not copied. Shared. He walked back to the village. One last time. The alien girl was waiting near the water. This time, she didn't run. She didn't cry. She smiled. I saw the sky, she said. I heard your name in it. Eli nodded. He sat beside her. I didn't ask for this, he said softly. No, she replied. But the mark doesn't choose those who ask. It chooses those who listen. He looked at his reflection in the water. Still him, but more. Something was different now. He wasn't just Eli Draven, a crash survivor. He was the marked one, and he finally understood what the facelick meant. It was never a warning, was it? He asked. The girl looked at him gently. It was a bond. Between your soul and ours. A connection? A key, she said. To see who you really are when everything else is taken away. And for a moment, Eli felt it. All the other marked ones before him, the ones who failed, the ones who were taken, the ones who became faces with no names. He had made it through. And now, he would carry all of them with him. The villagers gathered. Not in fear, not in silence. They touched their foreheads, then their hearts. A gesture of thanks. Of memory. Of goodbye. A voice crackled in Eli's earpiece. Ella Draven, this is Earth Command. We received a strange signal. It had your biosignature. Are you alive? He smiled faintly. Yes, he whispered. But not the same. A human rescue ship would arrive in 11 days, but Eli knew this planet was not something he could leave so easily. Part of him was written into it, now. Into its stone, its sky, its story. That night, before sleep, the girl came to him once more. She touched his face, but this time, there was no lick. She didn't need to. He had already been marked forever. In his final report to Earth, Ayla said, we are not alone in the universe, but being alone was never the real danger. The danger is forgetting who we are when the stars offer us something easier to become. A face is just skin. A name can be copied. But your choices, Your pain, your truth, those can't be stolen. I saw something that looked like me, talked like me, walked like me. But it wasn't me. I am me because I chose to be. Back on Earth, they would study the data for years out. Some would call it science. Others, a myth. A few would understand. The facelick wasn't strange. It was sacred. A soul mark. A silent promise. If we ever forget who we are, there is still a way back. But only if we're willing to remember.